Hmm. What is up, Facebook? YouTube. Sorry. Um, I decided to make this video, mixing a song as quick as I can using Logic Pro only. Now I don't know how well it's gonna go because I don't even know what the song is. I downloaded this song from a website. There's a website you can go to, and you could download other people's music and stuff to kind of like help you mix and stuff. So you could practice mixing and mastering. I'll find the link. I'll get the link and I'll put it down below in the description later. But it's really cool, and it helps you to be able to practice mixing and stuff. So let's dive in. Let's see what we got. So we have all of these files that I got from the website, and it's a heavy metal song, but nothing is mixed. So we're gonna have to do all of it ourselves using only Logic Pro plugins, which I love Logic Pro plugins, but I like to use Waves for compressors and all that sort of thing, and Easy Mix for distortion and a lot of other stuff. So I don't know what the distortion is gonna sound like. We're gonna try to get a good distortion out of Logic, but we shall see. So this is what it sounds like without anything. Okay. So you can see there's no processing on anything. There's no distortion on guitars. There's nothing really. It's the very, very basic sound. I'm gonna make this smaller here so we can see most of it in one shot. Okay. So I did, to save time, I kind of went and put all of the drums like in order for me. So I have kick, snare, hi-hat, toms, and all that stuff. So that's usually what I start with. So let's go dive right in. Here we go. So let's kick. We have a kick in and out, right? Snare. Okay, so kick. Let's do this one. Let's throw EQ on, boost some lows. Okay, let's see. There's enough click in there. I don't have to add very much highs. Okay, so you always kind of want to, I do anyway, want to boost some low end here. About right there. Okay, I'm gonna speed through this, so it's not gonna be the best sounding. I just kind of want to show you in general what I do with everything. All right, so drums. We'll use the Logic Pro's like stuff, their presets. All right, let's go rock kick. That sounds really good. It just livens up the sound. Slammed kick. No, that does. Type R. That's a good one too. So rock kick and type R. Just because it sounds louder doesn't mean it's the best. That's something you're gonna have to learn eventually. But this does sound pretty good, so we're gonna use that. So the reason why there's two kicks is there's probably one in and out, or in the front and one in the sound hole. So we could use one for the bass frequency, and this other one we could do like the click. A friend of mine, Stephen Stacy, showed me how to cut the kick drums. I was never doing that before, but cut it around 50 and below kind of helps the mix a lot. So I'm actually going to take this same compressor. I'm going to hold down Option, and I'm just going to click and drag it right over because I like that setting. It's kind of like a weird like offset thing going on, and I don't like that, so I'm just gonna mute. I don't want to deal with that, so I'm just gonna mute this one, and I'm gonna make this one thicker. So usually when you're mixing, they tell you don't go over like, oh, don't go over 1 or 2 decibels. If you do, you know, if your EQs are like this, then you're doing it wrong. But I don't really care, so I'm gonna do it however I want, and it's gonna sound like crap. But who cares, right? I'm just showing y'all the basics. All right, let's kick. Let's go to snare. That's what we got on the EQ. I usually like to do EQ first before compressor. So. See, just I cut a little bit of the mids. And I'm also gonna hold Option again and drag this compressor over, and then find the one that works best for the snare. So let's look for snare on here. Snare top. I like a snappy snare, so it's already starting to sound. The drums are already starting to sound good. It just sounds ugly. So normally when I record my own music, I use Easy Drummer, but these are audio files that somebody recorded. Their drums, I don't know, man. It sounds like some of it may have been sampled, just like sample hits and shit. But anyway, it's live recording, so we're not using Easy Drummer like I normally like to. Easy Drummer, man, it's the bomb, yo. Okay, let's find hi-hats. Let's just loop this area. Let's go. Drums, let's see if they have a hi-hat on here. They probably don't. And if they don't, then you could use like a snare top. It doesn't, you don't have to do a whole lot of heavy compression on hi-hats. And see, the reason why I think this is just samples, because like you don't hear any other snares. There's no snare, no kick bleed in this. So it has to just be like, you know, little samples here and there. I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's just what it seems like. But all right, so we have individual toms. Let's find those. Let's go where all of them are playing. Looks like they all play within this range. Not all of them. All right, this floor tom. Let's focus on that one real quick. Loop that area. I'm gonna cut a little bit down here. Something like that. Now I'm gonna take this compressor here, drag it over here, and then just change it. When you hold the Option key and you click and drag, it just makes it a lot easier, or faster, I should say. Let's see what toms are here. That sounds good. Logic Pro has really good stuff, man. Let's see. Toms. Octave tom sounds good. So I'm going to use this compressor for the other toms as well. So, but I'm going to change the EQ. So let's find these toms here. There's a tom 1 and there's tom 2. So let's listen to those. And it looks like I've already did left and right. So usually I do like all the way left for the highest tom and then all the way right for the lowest tom. So I don't want to get confused, so let me just do this tom. Sounds like there's a gate on there already. Anyway, that's good. That works for now. Like I said, I'm doing this as quick as I can. I don't want to waste any time. I'm just showing y'all in general what I do, but like I said, I'm just running through it. So I always cut the low ends out because there's always like some low rumbling from everything, bass, guitar, toms, snare, whatever. Everything has like some low rumble in this frequency down here, 50 and below, that we really don't pick up with our ears. But the compressor in the final mix over here, it'll pick it up, and it will cause like a breathing effect or whatever. The compressor doesn't like it, so take it out as much as you can where it's not needed and where it won't really affect your sound to do so, if that makes sense. Let's see. I have one more tom I haven't got to yet. This one. So hold Option, drag this compressor, and the same EQ. I like that EQ for the low toms. So all right, cymbals. Let's talk about cymbals. On a live drum set, man, you'll hear all the drums playing in the background. So that's something, I don't know how they recorded this. Excuse me. Because you don't hear any of the drums in the back. So it's got to be like some sort of sampled thing. But anyway, cymbals. Pull up the EQ. If it was with the drum set, you would hear all the other stuff in the back. I would like cut this at about like 200 just to get rid of all the other stuff that's going on. You really don't have to do much here. If you want, you could add a little bit of high end. Somewhere like that is fine. And you know, when you're making all these adjustments in the beginning, it's probably going to change later on. So, you know, you'll probably end up lowering the volume or raising the volume or whatever. So, okay. So now that we mix each individual drum, we're going to select all of these channels up to the cymbal, and we're going to send it from stereo out. We're going to send it to a bus. And I already have one in there. So drum bus 1. We're going to come over here, and this is where all of our drums are going. Okay, so we could control everything from all of the drum stuff from this track right here, okay? So, let's see. So, let's do, I can't see, the stupid mic is in the way. Let's see what needs to be turned down and what needs to be turned up. Actually, everything sounds pretty good. Toms might be a little loud. Okay, so toms might be a little loud. Let me get some snare, heavy snare going. I'll show you a trick to get more snare later if it's not loud enough for you. Let me see here. Okay, so let's add a compressor for the drum bus track. And let's see what it has for drum buses. Let's see. Classic drums. Let's see what that sounds like. That sounds good. Drum mix. So in the drum bus, this channel right here, you're gonna want to see or load something that says drum mix, or whole drums, or drum bus, something like that. Not drum room, that's used for something different. So, or kit like this. And I told in the last video that I did, I said you don't want to use a compressor that is like settings for just a kick drum or just a snare, because then it's just going to sound weird. You want the compressor to be set to an entire drum set, the entire set. So something like this opto compressor is pretty good. I think the opto mimics the LA2A. Okay, let's see. What else do they have for the whole set? Tight drum kit. That's real thick. It's got a lot of bass, a lot of fullness. Oops. That's got a tight sound though there. Drum mix. One more time. That's a real good balanced sound. Toms are really loud. Okay. That'll work for now. I think, I don't know, now the kick sounds too heavy. You want the bus compressor to be just between 0 and 5 really. The snare will always throw it over, but bring some low end. So you're always gonna make changes like later on, come back to something to do stuff. So no biggie, okay? And see how that level is chopped right there, it doesn't go anymore. That's perfect. That's kind of what you want. So this compressor is pretty good on Logic Pro. So let's move forward. Okay, let's take a look at guitars. That's going to be the biggest issue right now, because I like to use Easy Mix on my guitars, and if I can't get a good sound on this Logic plugin, that's what we're gonna do. Let's put this in the middle for now. Let's go. Let's pull up this. Is it this? Yeah. Let's see what Logic has for presets. Distorted guitar. Yeah, it sounds terrible. changed some stuff to kind of help it. Let's see. Maybe we could work with this amp, but just so I'm thinking Logic Pro's good, but the amp sims are not. I don't get some of their, this signal chain just sucks. Okay, so guitar distortion, it sucks. So that's out of the question. But let's see. Let's see if we can work with it. It might sound good in the mix after we're done. That is terrible sounding. Let's see. This is usually where the for at least for this video, this is where it's going to take the longest. So sorry. I am trying to run through it as quick as possible, but I don't know these amps, so we're trying to get a tone out of them. We could do it. It all sounds terrible. I heard something about the brown head, so let's see. I heard some good things about this. Very mid-heavy. Alright, let's just go with that for now. I'm sorry, I apologize for that tone, but whatever. You know, I'm trying to do this with all Logic stuff, so. And I'm pretty sure, you know, if I play around with it long enough, I could probably find a good metal distortion on Logic Pro, or I could figure out how to make one, so. Let's load another one. Let's see what Crunch has, man. Oh, I need blues stuff. I think though too. Didn't it say crunch? Let's see. 1 second, guys. What's up, brother? Yeah, I'm doing a live stream on YouTube right now. I'm in the middle of it. Yeah, I'm doing a full mix of a song, but I'm trying to do it as quickly as I can, using only Logic Pro stuff. Yeah. You have a question about it? Okay. Yeah, yeah, I'm live right now. If you want, if it's something mixed wise, just log on and watch. I guess it's on YouTube. Oh, it's not. What's that? Oh, it won't. Oh man. Okay. Yeah. Let me look into that. Send me the info on your computer again, and I'll look into it for you, and I'll get back with you. All right. Later. All right, my buddy Morgan. Okay. Let's see. These crunch ones are no good. Back to distortion. Let's see what we got. Let's go with this one. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this, so. I'm noticing these overdrive pedals, they don't work like, dang it, too long. They don't work like the real overdrive pedals, so. That low end just sounds terrible. I think another problem too is listen to how this guy recorded his DI guitars. Look, you hear he overdid it. He there's too much distortion in it. It should be a clean tone. Yeah, I don't know. I think he shouldn't have done that, but whatever. So let's just go with that for now. All right, bass DI. I know the bass stuff on here is pretty good from what I remember. Electric and bass. Let's go to crunch bass. That's good. That's cool. So when you're recording metal, your bass is usually better with distortion. I will repeat that. When you record metal music, bass is usually better with distortion. So think about adding it instead of doing a clean tone. Change the frequency on this thing. Well, that's not the best distortion. but it adds just a little bit to it, and that's fine with me. So, moving on. Now we have this solo here thingy. Let's see what Logic has on solo guitars. We're gonna find out. Let's just loop that. Actually, I think their stuff sounds okay with solos. It's just the rhythm that's terrible, you know? Hey, that's cool. That sounds like. I'm pretty sure that's not the sound the guy wanted when he made this song, but that's the one we're gonna go with. Because I think it's kind of cool. It sounds a little different. Let's see what this stuff is over here. Now these sounds here that are muted, I think these are like stuff that he recorded. Like, so he had amps recorded, so he recorded this stuff, his own amps. And then, so he's got guitar, and they sound great. But like I said, I'm trying to use only Logic stuff, so that's the purpose of this video. All right, let's see. I need to hurry. So let's find something. Where's that solo? It said something about a solo on here. That might be cool too. You know, when I think of that, I think of that Polyphia, that band, I think it's called. So let's see if we can't find something that's kind of like that for that tone. A Polyphia tone. I hope I'm saying that right. I don't know. I'm probably not. Let me shorten this loop. Well, it's not going to be Polyphia style, but it's something. It sounds off. Oh well. check something real quick. So if you notice on the distorted rhythm guitars, I always go hard left and hard right, and then solos usually just a little here and there, either or left or right, but not all the way, just kind of a little bit. So, hey, what's up, Morgan? I just saw that. Okay, so this is what we have so far with just Logic Pro. So what we're gonna do now that we have good guitar tones and stuff, we are going to send this to a guitar bus. We're gonna do the same thing that we did to the drum track. We're gonna do that to the guitar track. So let's see what we have. I'm gonna cut a little bit at 100. Let's go on the compressor. We're going to use another guitar heavy. Alright, so far that's what we have, but like I said, the guitars are terrible. But that's all. Logic Pro does not have good distortion guitars, but they do have really good clean guitars. I know that, I've used it before. It's weird how he did that pinch harmonic. It just like stops. Well, there is a fade in there, so I don't know. Oh well. Alright, moving on to the lead vocals. Where is it at? Alright, so let's do a couple of things. Let's do a compressor first. Normally I do EQ first, but we are going to compress it first. Right vocals. And I will say this, all heavy metal vocals sound ridiculous before you start to dress it up. So if you're a metal vocalist recording in the studio and you go and you hit record and you hear your vocals for the first take and you're like, I suck, I should quit. Man, just keep messing with it, because no metal vocalist sounds good raw before you dress it up. So he sounds a little crazy in this take, but it's gonna sound good. So alright, so the first one, compressor I add, I like to do opto LA2A, so that's good. It just barely touches it, you know, barely adds a little bit. Let's do an EQ now. Cut it 100 to, usually I go from 200 to 100, anywhere in between to cut. And add some highs. Just cut that a little bit. All right, that's good for EQ for now. We're gonna add another compressor. This time we're gonna go with a different style of compressors. The one thing that that you should understand is that different compressors have different sounds, even if they're not, compressing a whole lot. They still, you could turn, some people use compressors and don't even compress very much. They just turn it on just to have the signal go through it, just to get the sound of that compressor. So that's what we're going to do. The first one we used was an opto, and now we're probably going to use a FET. So, which is your FET is going to be like your 1176. So let's go with Edge. Let's see what that's about. It's not against the law to use two optos. One opto here and another one here if you wanted. I just usually do an opto here. Oops. An opto here and 1176 usually right there. Time to get paid on the shackles of civility. All right, so now we're dipping into the places that I like. That's what I like. Okay. Normally you could send stuff in bus for vocals, but that's usually if you have like 6 vocals or 8 vocals or 10 vocals, but there's only one vocal on this whole song, so I'm gonna go ahead and just do a delay and reverb on the track itself. Usually you have like 2 delays or a delay and a reverb on your auxiliary tracks or bus tracks, and then you just send what you want stuff over to it. Like if you want a delay, you send something to it, or if you want a reverb, you send to it, and I'll show you what I mean. So like right here, this is where you send. So you could select what bus you want. So here we have a studio. I don't know what that is. This thing right here. So it's kind of like a reverb. So we could just send it to it as much as we want, or not any at all. So the whole purpose of sending stuff over to a bus, the bus acts 2 different ways. There's bus and auxiliary, and honestly, the terms to me are just used or whatever. They both mean the same thing, but I don't know. You might want to look that up. But essentially, a bus track takes all of your individual tracks and sums it into left and right, right? Just if you have 10 or 20 or 30 tracks, but you don't want to, go back and like always turn all of them up and down, you could do it in one bus track. So that's what it does. But this bus also sends to your reverb and your delays. So you don't, this is very important. So you do not overdo or overdrive your processor, because imagine putting a delay and reverb on each one of these tracks. Your processor would just go overboard and your computer would probably crash. So if you put a delay and a reverb on 2 buses and just send everything that you want to those tracks, every track that you want delay and reverb, send them to that bus, then it takes care of the processor problem and your computer will stop crashing. So So that's a really good use of a bus track, you know, for delay and reverbs. So that's a, you know, since I already have it set up, I'm gonna do that with the vocals. But I don't like that style reverb. So let's just add our own real quick, delay and reverb. So first thing, if you're gonna do a signal chain like this, I like to do delay first.
Circles of civility. Emails. On the day. Time to get me. On the circles of civility. Emails. Swinging for equality. Time to get me on the circles of civility.
So what I'm doing is controlling the volume of each echo. So the first delay happens here, the second, third, fourth. So you can turn them down or move them however you want. I don't know if this tempo is correct to the song because it did not. When I imported the song, it did not import the tempo. So we're going to see if the tempo matches the song. If not, we're going to have to find our own tempo. So let's make a trail off. That's better. So you take away the first delay and use the last three. That's better. So we'll just stick with that. Now we're gonna add a reverb. So this reverb isn't that bad on here. Vocal plate, my favorite. Or orchestra chain. Or the whole. Oops. Let's go with this. Let's see what that is. So here's the thing about reverb. When you have a reverb, if you don't mess with the pre-delay and you sing something, if you say a word, the reverb just automatically like attaches to the word, right? And it just happens. The reverb happens immediately. The pre-delay allows you to say the word first, and then just a split millisecond, 24 milliseconds later, right here, 24 milliseconds, then the reverb happens. The reason why you want to do a pre-delay is because you want the words to come out so you could have that clarity, and then you want the reverb to follow through to add, you know, the ambience, and I don't know if I said that right, but you know, like, you want it to add the verb. It adds a lot of feeling to it. Man, reverb will really add a lot of feeling and emotion to your vocals, but if you do it wrong, it will drown it out and you lose your clarity. So let's experiment with some pre-delays.
Time to get me on the circles of civility.
So too much delay is like hovering around too close to his vocals. So let's.
Time to get seconds of civility. Remain at free. Bells swinging for equality. Time to get me on the seconds of civility. Remain at free. Bells swinging.
So every metal vocalist's secret out there is that they use distortion on their vocals. Don't let anybody lie to you. So listen to it. It gets a little muddier, and it gets a little grungy, but it works for metal. So here's without. It just makes it sound more aggressive. So we'll stick with that. Turn up the reverb. So now I'm hearing a lot of things that are just pissing me off with the kick drum. So back to the kick drum, right? Okay, let's not spend all day and night. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Command A. Hold on. Command A to select everything. And the reason why is because if you look at this number here, I don't like it to be in the red. Because when you get ready to do your final mix down on this track, it should not be red. It should be negative, what is it? Negative 0.6. That's what we're going for. That gives you enough space to mess with like compressors and stuff in your final mix. So let's Command A to select everything, and then hold Shift and select these two, because the number one rule in any mixing and mastering and recording is you never change this from 0. These two here on Logic Pro, this is your master track. This is also your master track. I'm hoping you can see that. Actually, you can't see it because my face is in the way. So let me disappear my face real quick. Now that we're messing with that, come on, with that track. I'm going to disappear my face. All right. So there goes my face. So you can see here. Yeah, okay, so now, like I said, this red is a no-no. This should always be at 0. These two should always be at 0. This is your master track. This is also your master track. I don't know why Logic has 2 of them like that, but whatever. We're just going to leave them both at 0. So we turned everything down. Let's see what it's playing at now. So negative 4. Turn it down a little bit more. So this looks pretty good. That's doable. You just don't want it to be like too close to 0, because then you can't work with it. All right, so let's add first I think we need to turn down the vocals. let's add a compressor real quick. It's the first thing you want to add on your master track. Stereo compressor, just to glue everything together. And I'm going to show you another cool compressor that's on this thing. Let's see if they have, I don't even know if they have a master thing. You know what? I think they have. Let me go no plugin. They have user, like factory. Here we go, factory masters. And what you do is you click on this master track and you go up here and you, that's kind of like from another project of mine, this master thing up here. But if you click on this side, it pulls down this drop menu and you can go to factory and experiment with their signal chain for their master. Okay, so you can mess around with that. This is going to be probably loud. No, it's not that loud. You can start messing with it. Okay, so this is the other compressor I wanted to show you. It's really cool. This compressor is awesome. Let's go to Extreme Deep Punch. So what this is, this multi-compressor is compressing your bass level, your mid bass, and your mid high and your high. It's really helpful if just one of those frequencies is too loud and the others are fine. That's why that multi-compressor is really good for your master track. But you could use it for other stuff too. There's a trick that you could do for guitars. When you palm mute a distortion guitar, the sound level gets too loud in this area here. And so you can just mute these and allow that signal through and then compress just those palm mutes. So whenever you hit that palm mute, it's not like destroying your mix and stuff. So that's a really cool plugin. I'm gonna turn output ceiling down not all the way, but pretty low for the sake of recording. So this is showing you how much you're reducing and how much your input and your output is. Usually your output should be at like negative, I think it's like, you could be at -1 is fine, or as long as it's under 0 and not over. So you could do that if you want. If you plan on recording, mixing, and mastering songs to sell on iTunes and stuff, you should really look up iTunes and what the requirements on for the master track decibel, output or out ceiling or whatever. Because if it's over a certain point, they'll reject it. So you have to make sure it meets their standards or whatever. Well, that's essentially it. the guitars are terrible, so I apologize for that. But I really wanted to try to do everything using only Logic plugins. For the most part, they do have like I said, really great stuff. Let's go back and listen to the beginning. They have really great stuff, but their distorted guitars just need work, man. They need to upgrade that stuff. But there's so many plugins out there. There's Easy Mix. I use that. There's the DSP plugins, the STL plugins. I think Andy James just came out with a really awesome one that's like 5150 guitar amps and stuff. What is it? There's one more that's like a really awesome guitar plugin for heavy metal distortion. What you call it? And everybody goes the Fortin Nameless, I think, or whatever. Look up Fortin, Fortin. I'll put some links to these other distortions, heavy metal distortion plugins in the description below, so you guys could go check those out. But Fortin is amazing for the price. That's a really good deal. I would recommend that. JST also, Joey Sturgis, he also offers some stuff. He has a couple of good plugins for guitar distortion. I bought the Misha one. I didn't like it, but you might. So yeah, go check that stuff out. So yeah, this is a final mix. Like I said, I rushed through it as quick as I could. The distortion sucks. So you could change stuff into individually even after you're at this stage and you have your final master stuff. You could change stuff after. I should also note that I'm not using mixed headphones. These headphones are terrible for mixing, so if it sounds terrible, I'm sorry. But like I said, just wanted to give you just kind of like how the signal chains that I normally use, the EQs and the compressors and where I put them and how. One more thing before I finish, I wanted to show you how to get your snare a little bit louder in the mix if you're not happy with the way the snare is sounding, okay? So let me explain something. In the mix, your drums are coming out of this drum bus, right? That is controlled by a compressor here. And so you'll notice that every time the snare hits, the compressor kicks in and slows it or stops it. It lowers the level to make the whole entire drum track sound even. This could be problematic for snares. So what you want to do is, after you have your snare sounding, here's your snare. Okay, what you're gonna want to do is bypass that final compressor by sending it to its own bus channel in the middle of nowhere over here, right? And it's just gonna be all alone, no compressor, no nothing on it. You could add, EQ and stuff if you want, but there you go, problem solved. It sends it over here. This is its own little channel here. That's the side snare that's happening. So you have your snare that's going into the drum bus and it's being tamed. It's that drum bus is keeping the drums level, and then you have your side snare that's kind of popping and a rocking, and it's making it louder and more beefier. So that's that's something you're gonna run into, and that's something that might help you in the future when mixing stuff. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, y'all want to watch me do something else using other plugins, I'm gonna do that anyway, because I feel like this song would sound so much better with different distortions and Waves plugins. Yes, I recommend getting Waves plugins. Um, excuse me. For the price, they're pretty awesome. They're 1176 and their LA2A is amazing. They have some Renaissance oh man, their Renaissance everything sounds great. It doesn't look pretty, but who cares? It sounds amazing. Their what else do they have? Their de-esser is amazing, and their wave, the tuning program that they have is great. Waves is just, man, they've always been there and they've always had great stuff. So look them up, download some stuff. Start with the compressor packs. Just get compressors, man, and then a de-esser and go from there. But yeah, so Waves plugins. The next video I'm gonna do, probably maybe not this song because I know people have already heard it and they're probably tired of it, but something similar to this using Easy Mix and Waves plugins and other things that I have. Okay, so tune into that whenever that happens. So okay, peace out, dudes. Had fun, man. Later.